Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I don't either I done forgot how to do something here or what it is. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not gonna worry about it. But it's Saturday. Um, and Saturn is ruling the day. Uh, at this time. Um, um, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the astrology and what is going on here. So, um, let's go ahead and we'll look at what happened in the early morning hours, which I found really kind of strange because I did wake up at almost it was right at 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up, got out, and then went to the bathroom, come back, got back in bed, and then I ended up getting up at 6 this morning. I was like, I'm not getting up at 3. I mean, I know I'm waking up for a particular reason. There's something that's disrupting my sleep pattern. And then when I looked at it at the astrology, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting it now. There's a message I was needing to receive here. So let's go over and jump over and look into it, and let's see what's going on, what's happening. All right, here we go. I've brought up what I have here in the window that you can see right here is actually what I have for the events that are taking place. So I've kind of put it on a daily, hourly that I thought was more or less major events that were happening. Okay, let's pool them together for the day and what's the most important in the hours between there. So anyway, we're going to start here at let me go ahead and make this. Oops, sorry, I'm on the wrong screen. Let me go ahead and make this big where I can see it. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. And we'll go back over here. And we've got this highlighted, and you can see I've got it. Well, you can't see everything that I can see on my other screen, but you'll see that the sun is in Aquarius. Okay, it's at 6 degrees, 49 minutes in on January the 27th, and this is my time, Eastern Standard Time, at 2:18 a.m. All right, and so it's squaring Jupiter in Taurus right now. Let me get my other little doodad here, and we'll talk a little bit about that. All right. Like I said, you can see that the sun in Aquarius at 6 degrees, 49 minutes in, okay, 2:18 in the morning. And the day, which was Friday, all right, that this was going on. Today is the 20, what is today? Hold on one second. Because I saw this yesterday. Give me just one second here. Yep, today's the 27th. So it's Friday, it's not Saturday. Gosh, I'm getting my days messed up, you guys. Why does it feel like Saturday to me? I don't know. But, okay. Doesn't lie. Today's Friday. I've got it messed up. Sorry about that. Come on. All right, here we go. All right. Go back. Grab that. And like I said, you can see the sun right here. Venus is ruling the day because it's Friday. The night was being ruled by Mars, and the hour was the 20th hour at the time when I'm doing this. I don't know why I feel weird today. I guess I just lost a day somewhere, and I don't know where I lost it at. No, I don't do drugs. Maybe I need to. I don't know. Um, but you can see that again. Like I said, the sun is in Aquarius, 6 degrees, 49 minutes. Venus is ruling today because it is Friday, and I'm going to be all messed up now. And the night at the time after midnight, okay, Mars was ruling the night. So there's something here of a disturbance. Anytime you look at Mars, it's aggressive, okay? It's an energy of getting something done. Now, kind of weird. It could have been, being agitated as far as something you needed to do that haven't done, but it's different for all. This is the 10th house, okay? This is not the 10th house is usually for would be Aries here. For all of you, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same. This would be, if I was going down through the list, I would say, for, what is wrong with me? I'm getting delays here myself. I don't know why. But this would be for Taurus. It would be the 9th house. For Gemini, it would be the 8th house. For Cancer, it would be the 7th house. For Leo, it would be the 6th house. For Virgo, it would be the 5th house. For Libra, it would be the 4th house. For Scorpio, it would be the 2nd house. For be the 3rd house for Scorpio. It would be the 2nd house for Sagittarius. Then again, for Capricorn, it would be the 1st house. For Aquarius, it would be the 12th house. And for Pisces, it would be the 11th house. Okay? So you kind of got to look at it, what it is, where it's at, whichever you are, whichever sign you are. And then if you're going to read or look at astrology according to your moon or your ascending, then you would have to figure that out, right? So you would have to, adjust to whatever that may be for you. So Mars, and the hour was of Mars at this time, at 2:18 in the morning. So the hour was focused on Mars, and Mars is about courage and the ability to take some sort of action. Well, wouldn't that depends on where you are in the world. I wasn't going to get out of bed at 2:18 in the morning, or somebody might have been doing something overnight that had the courage or was trying to get the ability or have the courage and ability to take some action at that time. Again, Mars is about desire. Natural desire, and aggressive drives. And the sign, which is sitting in Capricorn, which Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And so Saturn being direct in Pisces is taking that direct action to something here of a vision or a dream or a structure, because Saturn is where you learn to operate within limitations of society. So if somebody is at 2:18 in the morning thinking about going and doing something, it's like, well, I can't do that. Whatever it might be, drinking and driving or whatever else it may be, or I'm going to have to pay, you can't go out there and operate a vehicle early in the mornings drinking, right? That's against the limitations of and the laws of society. Okay, because Saturn is about the laws. It's governs us. We are governed under the laws of society and those that are written laws. Also, it's about responsibility and rules. fears, obstruction, and limitations. Father, teacher. We've been taught you got to follow the rules and regulations. You got to be a responsible individual. We've been taught that through our fathers. The father's rules of the house or the home. So anyway, going back to this, whoever is somewhere at that time in the morning, they're thinking about doing something, having the courage and the ability, or do they have the ability as well to take the action? Their natural desire and aggressive drives that are driving them to that point of doing something here. And the sign shows how you go out after your values. Survival. This is not a survival sign. This is a fixed sign. This means somebody who does something out of habit. They don't follow maybe the rules or the limitations. They're not out to survive something here. And the house is where you concentrate the energy. So the energy being in Mars is concentrating of controlling maybe oneself and restricting oneself from doing something against society that can be very stupid. Okay? Like drinking and driving, for one. Around here, most bars are closed at 2 o'clock in the morning or closing, and people are on the road. So, you really got to, look at something here. And Pluto is at 0 degrees. I want you to look at that. Pluto is at 0 degrees. Pluto has moved into Aquarius, but it's still conjunct with the sun. Sun hasn't gotten away from Pluto far enough to break that connection. So whatever Pluto is not really taking any action yet, is just sitting there. It's like, I walked in the door and I'm just looking around. I'm seeing what's going on in society because it is the 11th house. And I'm looking at humanity and I'm looking at people, and Pluto's looking at all this. Who's authentic here? Who has the courage to face some adversity? What is going on here that needs to be? Remember, Pluto is the one that brings in destruction. It will bring in the change. It will look at us and say, something here in this society has got to change. And if it puts you through hell, and if you have the strength and the courage, and you are authentic enough of who you are to survive what I'm fixing to put you through, then those are the ones who are going to survive in society. But you've got to be honest, you've got to have the strength, and you've got to have the courage to face this adversity of hell that I'm fixing to bring into this society. Follow me? Let's see who's got a purpose here. Let's see what your purpose is. Let's see what you're focused on. Now remember, like I said, Pluto is coming in and it's just walked in the door, not doing anything yet, is just looking around, seeing what people's purpose are here. What is your sole purpose? It's your interpersonal purpose, your inner drive and energy, the source of your will, self-motivation, sense of confidence, your strength, your individuality, and your creativity. That's what the sun's all about. It's life force. It gives us life. Without the sun, we don't exist. There would be nothing except desolation. Can't go without the sun. Period. We need it. And what rules the sun is sitting over here? It rules the 5th house, Leo, or the sign of Leo. Not necessarily the 5th house. It rules Leo, the sign. The moon has been going through Leo. And for each of us, that's different as well. And with this moon going through this at this time of the morning, it's divinely guided our heart. It's about, with the fifth house, it's love affairs and romantic attachments, self-expression. How do you express that? Creativity, art and drama, children, pleasure and play, and speculation as well. If you speculate something, right, you have this speculation, the sun shines on it and it brings it out in the light. Whatever's in the dark comes to life. And you will see it. We've all seen it. Things that have been done in the dark. I told y'all for so long now, things that are done in the dark cannot be hidden. They will be revealed. If you're one of those people who like to live in the darkness and do things in secret, guess what? It ain't going to stay there. Your true emotions are going to be seen and felt. Because when we're talking about the moon, we're talking about our emotions. And what drives our emotions is our heart, our feelings, what our heart feels and what our heart desires. Right? And then it also shows, like I said before, there are 4 different types of heart. There's 4 different types of personality. If you remember, we have cardinal signs, we have fixed signs, we have air signs, we have Cancer signs or water signs, okay? Fire, earth, air, and water, the 4 elements, right? So personalities are made up of those 4 elements. The heart only comes from the soil of one of those elements. Your personality comes from one of those elements, even though there's a little stuff added in there about, your values and all this. But your personality and your ascending only comes from one of those types. We don't display everything about us to everyone out there. Some people have real good hearts, passionate hearts, loving hearts, empathetic hearts. It just depends. But then you got to look at everything that combines. That's why it says when people say, get your birth chart, know where your sun is, know where your ascending is, know where your moon is, know where all this stuff is at, where you're mostly driven. And when it's the good times, like Mars being in Capricorn right now, it's exalted. So if you have a Mars in Capricorn at the time of your birth, then you are exalted here and really driven to do something here, depending on that particular house, okay? Because the houses are a little different. Not a little, but a lot. But they rule that. There's certain things that rules about us, and then something with our relationship with others, and then our relationships with society, okay? And how we interact. So you got to look at all these things in such a different way that sometimes it can be very difficult and daunting and exhausting, really, especially if doing astrology and looking at all these particular places and the planets, and if you start throwing everything else in there, that's why, most of the time when doing the astrology, you don't throw everything there, every little thing out there in the universe up on a chart, because you would only do that for somebody that's really for individual reading. You see what I'm saying? So it's a kind of like just a general. This is general. So you would have to have your charts, looking at them and knowing. Now, when I do the tarot, I look at the chart as well, because I want to see, I'm reading for a certain signs or moons or whatever, however you want to do it. It's that you want to look at it. I include that because to see what in the cards is showing me Mars or showing me Venus or Mercury or whatever. and I'm looking to see where those things are at. So it's and what is ascending, what is coming up, what is rising out of that darkness that you couldn't see, that now you will be able to see something that is ascending up. And like right now with the ascending, we've got Scorpio is ascending at that time. Now this is going to change because the ascending moves every 2 hours, almost approximately 2 hours, maybe a little less, maybe not. That it's gonna move. And we also have with the midheaven, they keep kind of their distance the same. The majority of the time, as it leaves, this one's going to go through, and then it will come into here as this one starts to leave, just like it looks like right now. The midheaven is what's up here above. As beloved, so below. So if you look at it, because it's right on this line, all right, of the seasons. And so what is ascending here at this time? This would be up here, which would be Virgo. Midheaven would just be starting to go through Virgo as the ascending is finishing up and getting ready to go into, or let's see. Yeah. As it's finishing up, let me just to point this out a little bit and help out. Let's see. Scorpio. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, you can see it's just about finishing up here. Let me take that one out. And then it'll go into Sagittarius. So it'll be transiting through Sagittarius. And this will cause this to kick up. It'll move. This sign will move right up in here. Because then what would be ascending would be Sagittarius. So this would be right there on that line. And it would be going through Virgo. You following me? I hope y'all hanging with me here. And this is helping some. Just a little bit to explain something here. That you can kind of get the gist of what's happening. Now, with this sun being in Aquarius, there's a focus on society. Aquarius is that sign of what we know, something we know. So there's something being highlighted here or brought into the light that we need to know. Or we may feel we need to know to help us in our purpose in life. I mean, you just can't go around and be ignorant all the time, right? So we need to know what is going on here. Now, what it is in its aspect is squaring Jupiter in the second house. Something's hidden here. And remember, I said the ascending here is in Scorpio, which would be the 7th house for Taurus, all right? So if we would go, and this is moving up, then what would be descending would be the 7th house. So this right here that's going on would be in this darkness what we don't know. And we're wanting to know something here about expansion and growth. Now, with this happening, okay, there's a lot of other stuff aspect going on here. A lot of other stuff. So since the big major event is the sun in Aquarius squaring Jupiter in Taurus at 6 degrees, because they're both at 6 degrees and 49 minutes in, okay, is creating these aspect configurations that are important, that I feel are important to acknowledge. So let's jump over into the aspects of what we're seeing here. Number one, we're seeing a sail, right? Remember that driven energy? Venus ruling the day. Venus being in a trine to Jupiter. Now, when these two come together, they become very beneficial to one another. You know, it's the capacity to really expand the heart or expand the love, the feelings, and its growth, because it's growth in the world, because it's all reality. But this sail is here at the midheaven. Now, even though there's a trine here that's showing, all right, and Saturn and Venus being in Saturn's house, or in its sign, in the house of home, well, for some of you's career, like I said, you'd have to go about what I said, where it would land for each one of you guys. And it's sextiling, Saturn is sextiling Jupiter and Venus. And what is a sextile? A sextile is where it shows an opportunity for productivity and success. Kind of odd for 2-something in the morning, right? 2:18 in the morning. It's a mental attitude being activated. Now, if you are using some sort of substance abuse, such as alcohol or drugs, your mental attitude is being activated or induced by those certain things. So that's why you shouldn't do drugs. That's why you shouldn't drink alcohol to a point of you don't even have the thought processes that you should have, because something here with this midheaven is in opposition, which creates not a very good movement. Like, you better not do that. You better not do that, because something could happen here. You better stop and think. This may not be a very good time to do something. Okay? Because what we have here is we have the midheaven. Okay? And it's trying Venus. And Venus is trying over to Jupiter. Back to the midheaven. But there's an opposition that has to do with Saturn. So Saturn is what is saying, you better stop and think, or you better wait and not do something here. You're picking the wrong time to do something of what your mind is being activated, saying, hey, you know, maybe you can be successful at 2:18 in the morning. Well, and also with the sextiles, it's like, you must activate you for it to work. In other words, don't let something else that is creating something here that's motivating you to do something here that you may regret later by doing it. Don't let your pony go running off everywhere, okay? This wouldn't be acceptable in society. In other words, don't show up at somebody's doorstep at 2:00 in the morning, knock, knock, knock. Can I come in? No. Do you know what time it is in the morning? Because somebody is opposed to somebody being there. You better stop and think about this. Also, what it's doing with this sun squaring Jupiter, not acceptable, is it has something here to do with the square of Mercury Your mind's activated, but it's challenging something here, the past to the future or to Chiron. Like I'm saying, don't go knocking at somebody's door wanting to heal something, because you know what? That would be a stupid move to make at 2:18 in the morning. Oh, baby, I'm so sorry I done you wrong. You know, whatever. Don't do that. Don't do it because of your past actions. Because again, there's an opposition. You will hit an opposition. You will hit a wall. Your sail, your kite, will not float. There is no wind at night at 2 in the morning, so your kite's not going to get off the ground. Right? Only if it's during the day and there's some breeze blowing. The next thing we have is we have the South Node squaring. The apex of this has to deal with you better stop and think before you go do something that's going to create more harm than good. Because just because you desire something to do something here, don't mean it's the right time or the right thing to do. The next thing we have is we have the Grand Trine. Like I said, this energy of the sun squaring Jupiter, it's air and it's earth. They don't mix. Wax stupid if you want to, but you better think about the values here. Because again, this Grand Trine is saying, you fly that kite if you want to. But guess what? It may not work. If you just want to go with the flow, you know, because that's what you feel. And if you're doing something here, and let's say you call somebody and they say, and you say, well, oh, I want to come over and see you, blah, blah, and all this, you know, or you come over here or whatever. This ain't going to work. You know what? This is a booty call. If some guy calls you and wants you to come over late in the early morning hours, oh, I miss you, blah, blah, he's lying. He's a booty call, okay? Don't just go and think, oh, you know, he cares about me. No, he don't. If he cared about you, he wouldn't have you out on the road at 2 o'clock in the morning. Again, remember, it's dealing with the sail here where there's an opposition that you shouldn't do it. And the trine is part of this sail. Now, let's go back to what's going on next. Next thing we have here, oh, let me take this off. Get rid of that. Now, the next thing we have that's showing up here is Uranus. And what we see with Uranus is it's stationary. It was retrograde, but it's stationary. It went stationary earlier in Taurus. And what is it doing? Number one, the first thing it's doing is there's a quincunx. And remember what quincunxes are? To the South Node? Quincunxes is where it's also called an inconjunct. Some people call them inconjunct. Some people call them quincunxes. It shows the decision and adjustments needed between the energies. Something of your past that you have to change. And you've got to have the courage to make the decision, no, I'm not going to go knock on that door at this time in the morning. That would be kind of stupid of me to do that to somebody. And I got to say this, when with Uranus sitting here stationary after it's retrograde, okay? as this sets for the next 7 days, it went on the 23rd. Okay, it started in its stationary position. It came out of retrograde. And for those 7 days, while it sets, until it makes the direct action and starts to move on January the 30th, it's not going to start moving until January the 30th. It's going to sit there, and in its intensity, because it's not doing anything, it's just building up the energy. The energy is just sitting there, idling, waiting to send out that lightning bolt. You remember the tower, right? Because it's a shock. It sends a shock out. There's something that's going to come out that is really going to shock and come about the past. It'd be like the thing, like, news alert, okay? Because that is what it does. It's the god of air. It sends out the lightning bolts. It deals with the nervous system. It deals with things that's just shock and awe. It's rebellion. And if you're looking in the news right now, you're seeing Texas fighting against the government about protecting the border. This could be something that takes place on the 30th. That all of a sudden, that energy that's been building up and building up and building up is just all of a sudden simultaneously going to be released out. Because these energies have got to make some sort of adjustment. They need to do something, because if they don't, it's going to shock everybody. It's going to be a shocking event that's going to take place. I don't know. It depends on everybody's life. It depends on everybody's values, or whatever this is that's going on. But remember, one thing you've got to remember is that Uranus, Neptune, hit the wrong button. Neptune and Pluto are the interpersonal planets that will push you beyond your reality. It will force you into an area of your life that is unfamiliar and you don't know how to react to it. But you've got to have the courage to face it. Whatever the opposition is here, you've got to consciously face something of relationships with illumination, or you're going to have frustration. It's either going to be a challenge, or you're going to find something here in the relationship that can be brought to light, or it's being brought to light. And you say, okay, I see it for what it is. I'm going to deal with it. I have the courage to face it. I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to deal with it and take care of it. Or you're going to be challenged to deal something and overcome that challenge. It's like playing a game of tug of war. And that's exactly what Saturn, or what Uranus, is doing with that sun. It's sort of challenging, or the sun is challenging to bring something out. You go ahead and sit there in that little stewed energy, but something is going to come into the light. And we're already being warned here with the sun in the quincunx to the midheaven. There's got to be some adjustments made to heal something here. To take the action, face something about our feelings and what we feel in love affairs and love relationships, whatever this is, face it and say, if it's a relationship that's not for you, then let it go. Be honest about it. Say, hey, this just ain't working for me. How can somebody hate somebody for saying that?
Hello? Hello.
Oop, I hit the button. I gotta get the phone out of my way before I hit. Forgive me on that. But we gotta face something here. And we can't just ignore if a relationship is not meant for us, then we can't ignore it. If a relationship where you've done something that was wrong or hurtful, you got to make it right. So with Uranus going stationary, remember that energy is going to sit there and it's going to bubble. Now, it can either blow up and create that shock and all if something's not done. I mean, act stupid if you want to, but it's best to face your adversities with courage and strength and authenticity and truth and honesty. Quit lying to yourself about something. If you've got a vision about something, with Neptune, it's in that square over here to Vista, which Vista is all about. Um, it's the keeper of the spiritual flame within us. It's where we have sacred feminine creative energy that allows us to dedicate ourselves to our aspirations or our plans or our goals, and where we have this nun. When I say nun, it's like N-U-N, nun, spiritual, like devotion to a cause, like a nun in a nunnery. She has a spiritual devotion to her Lord, okay? And she does projects that are for humanity, that are kind and generous and giving, to whether it's persons or beliefs that is sacred to us, is what things we value, whom we value, what projects we really want to devote ourselves or dedicate ourselves to. And there's a challenge there to meet those. Why? You got to ask yourself that. You just can't go along with the program and thinking everything's fine when it's not. That would be kind of stupid, wouldn't it? You just stay in something just to have somebody in your life. Get a dog. Buy a plant. If the plant survives, you nurture the plant. If it survives, and you can do things like that in a relationship. If you're not good to animals, then guess what? You ain't going to be good to people either. So what difference does it make? You're just going to create hell in someone's life and in your own life. But I got to say this. Remember that when Pluto comes in, it's only going to go to 2 degrees, and it's going to go retrograde in, I think it's September, something like that. And it's going to go back into Capricorn, and it's going to go to 29 degrees, and it's going to sit there, and it's going to finish up, and then it's finally going to depart. That's it. You may have a grand opportunity at the end of the year, if you start working on something now, to go back and correct something in that area of your life. Okay? I mean, a lot of people get laid off too, so, could be something in that as well. Now, also what's going on is we still have, with the moon here in Leo at 25 degrees, 38 minutes in, and that's at 5:25 in the morning. And it's in that quincunx with Neptune in Pisces, which I was just talking about. There's some sort of adjustments that's got to be made here because we have the T-squares. It's dealing with Mercury and Mars conjoined together, where there is some struggle in the action that you have to take. There's some sort of healing that has to be done. Chiron is all about health. So wherever this may lie in your chart, in what house, there's something that is unhealthy or needs to be paid attention to of the health of that situation. And for you Libras, I'd say it's something in relationship. Because your partner may be feeling this is not a healthy relationship for me. Something here is unhealthy. And something that definitely that is being hidden can come out about it. And remember, the 10th house is all about reputation as well. You know, you want to be successful. You know, the drive and the driven and the purpose and all that is to be successful in life, having successful relationships, having successful careers, having a good reputation, being of value to societies, having those resources where there's help there, that you help others, but do you help others to the point to where you damage your own reputation because you overextend yourself in some way to other people that you know you can't? Because what do you, is there some sort of, fantasy here in the relationship? People get in love affairs with people that are committed elsewhere or married or whatever this is. That's unhealthy for the person that is not really in the committed relationship. For the outside third party, it's not healthy. It can cause issues. Some people are okay with them. I mean, if that's your thing, then, but the pony don't ride forever. And I kind of look at it this way, and I've never seen one where it lasted a long time. If you get involved with somebody, I'm gonna tell you, I had a friend, and I'm not mentioning names, but she got involved in this extramarital. It wasn't really even marital relationship or whatever, but he was with somebody else. And she'd been with this guy for 25 years off and on. Now, she said she was fine with the relationship, okay? And she finally got with this guy after 25 years of having that sort of relationship with him. So when they moved in together, it didn't work. It only lasted a month. And he was already out seeing someone else. So if they're willing to cheat, anybody that's willing to cheat on someone, believe you me, they're going to do it to you. And you're going to notice the signs that they're doing it. I mean, eventually we all grow up and we stop doing certain things, okay? Because it just don't work anymore. You can't be a player all your life, right? By then, no telling what you'll end up with. You may end up alone. But why do that? I mean, it's up to you. I mean, these are just scenarios I'm putting out there that there's challenges here about the past that could be something here that's definitely very unhealthy. Oops, I'm sorry. I forgot to bring that up. So we're looking with, the biggest thing here is this with Mercury, okay, and Mars. Okay, I can't get it in there too good. I don't know why that's not showing up. But there's something here that's not healthy. that's going on. And it's about the past. Because we got both Chiron. So you really need to think about something here. And you really need to look at this love affair. Is it really worth something here? To live in a fantasy or a delusion? Because Neptune will create those delusions. And it will drive you. Because look where Neptune is setting. It's in the third term belt, which is Mars. In the, in third decant, Mars rules this. You're driven here by desire, natural desire of wanting something here, and we have Mars in the term belt. But something here, when this gets over here in this area, right here at the end, and Saturn hits, there's something here about the law. The non-acceptance of society. It's going against nature. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? I mean, it's up to you. I'm not sitting in judgment of nobody here. Who am I to judge? I mean, I've made my own mistakes in my life I got to pay for. You know, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. But I'm just giving you a heads up. That, yes, something here with this energy building up, by the end of the month, something's going to come. The next thing we have in the event pool here is we have, let me bring that in. The next thing we have here is we have Mercury in Capricorn, and it's in opposition, or it's conjunct, I'm sorry. That's the conjunction symbol. Is conjunct with Mars. I mean, look at this, 1717. 17 degrees and 17 minutes in. And both of them are sitting in where Mars is exalted. And Venus is in the term belt. So, there may be some communication here. Something coming out. Somebody's wanting success here in some way. But, again, I'm looking at the T-squares that this is creating. And this is at 9:58 in the morning. Now, remember, all those last three phases I'm brought up about, those were dealing with the early morning hours. So there might have been somebody that just wasn't sleeping well. Something was on their mind, and they couldn't rest. They, if you don't deal with things, then guess what? It's going to sit there and it's going to stew just like Uranus. Uranus is going to push you and push you and push you until you deal with it. So you get the courage up and face something here. Is this really what I want for my future? Because that North Node is coming, it's in conjunct right now with Chiron. And it's about your future. Is this really what I want for my future? If you're laying in bed next to somebody that you know you've got no feelings for, then what the hell are you doing in that bed? What are you doing messing with this person? If there's nothing there, you're wasting your life and you're wasting the other person's. It's not going to be productive. It will crash. When the Uranus begins to move, guess what? It's going to crash. It will not last. I mean, we've got conjunctions here at this time with the North Node conjunct with Chiron, the health. Is this going to be a healthy relationship for the future? Is this person healthy for you? Probably not. Because why? There's an opposition, something with the past. The next conjunction we have is the midheaven with Venus. It's trying to get you to look at something here. If you're just riding the ride and riding the wave and oh, it feels good, and yeah, you think it's going to grow, guess what? No, it ain't. I'm telling you, it's not going to last. Because then all of a sudden, we got the conjunction. Something's going to come to the light. The heavens above is going to say, you think you've got something here that you're going to be successful at. Well, guess what? The big thing about Uranus is expect the unexpected. Because what you think is what you expect, nah, not with Uranus. Because Uranus will do the unexpected. It will blow your mind and your energy. It will zap you. It will bring a shock to your nervous system. Think of that tower and what's coming. Somebody's going to sit here and say, I don't think so. This ain't going to meet with my future, because we have a conjunction here as well with the ascending to Neptune. Somebody's going to say, well, this just don't meet my expectations. Or, you know, this what I envisioned this relationship to be just isn't what I thought it was. Or, you know, this job just wasn't what I thought it was. You know, something here, there's an illusion. And illusions and glamour is negative. When the makeup comes off, guess what? When the true face is shown and reality sets in, wow. You'd be like, put the makeup back on. You know? Or the personality isn't what you thought it was, you know? Yeah, you know, I've heard people say, you know, he's a good-looking guy or she's a good-looking woman and whatever else, and then all of a sudden, man, they open their mouth and you go, what? Shut up. If you just put duct tape on your mouth the rest of the time, maybe we could have a relationship. Because they're not being authentic. They're covering all that up, that facade that you can't see. So there's something here unhealthy. In relationships, whether it be with friends, personal, marital, whatever this is. And I'm not one of an advocate that say marriages should break up. But you know what? If you're being abused or something here or used, then, you know, it's not worth it to stay in that. I mean, you know, God never meant us to, maybe we all should have to take tests before we get married to find out if we are compatible. Because sometimes our own hearts blind us from seeing what is actually real. Maybe everybody needs to take that personality test to see, are we compatible for one another? Because somebody here is going to wake up and realize, this ain't what I thought it was. Because the next thing that we have, because he is still dealing with the T-squares. Then at 2:38 this afternoon, all right, we got Virgo, the moon moves into Virgo at 0 degrees. Look at the opposition. We still have a quincunx here. Still have a quincunx here. Still have a quincunx here. And we got one here with the midheaven with Saturn. Something's trying to tell you something. Are you listening to it? Because this has been staying here for quite some times in this quincunx. If you're just going along for the ride, guess what? It ain't meeting up with what was the past. And if you're comparing it to something in the past, it ain't meeting that expectation. Because right now there's a quincunx from that moon over to Pluto again. And you knowing it don't meet up. It doesn't click. I mean, it's almost like Pluto's telling you, you're bringing hell into your life. And I'm going to show you something. And Pluto's going to show you something. That your expectations or something here is not real. Because again, now that the ascending is right here with this vista, were you going to devote yourself to? Are you going to be dedicated to this? There's squares showing here. Neptune is showing you that something here that you envision or something you think is glamorous or something here that's going to meet your expectations or is driven you to this or whatever, it's like you better check again. You better activate that mind. You better look at it in all seriousness and say, is this really for me? Or am I living under an illusion? Have you ever just gotten this job, started a career or something, and it's like, or even a relationship, anything you're just starting, a project, people, a cause, or a belief you may have. What illusion are you under that you're not seeing the reality of it? Well, when that moon goes through Virgo, you're going to see how unhealthy something here is. And what I show you next is going to blow your mind. Because I've already showed you this the other day, about the 28th. I think it was the 24th. I'm sorry. 24th, not the 28th. That I showed you something that's going to go on. And here we go. You ready? Well, there it is. Mercury in Capricorn. Squaring the North Node. That is the big kicker here. And this is going to be on Saturday because the day is being ruled by Saturn. Well, today is Saturday. It was something from yesterday that late, early night that you're going to realize come this Saturday today. I knew it was Saturday. I'm sorry. I was so befuddled. And y'all probably been sitting there screaming at me at the screen. It's Saturday, you fool. Well, okay, I know it's Saturday now, okay? I just happened to look up and I saw it and oh, God. So anyway, Saturn is ruling the day. And now the night is going to be ruled. And this night, now that it's 23, the final hour, right, of the day. I always love that, especially in biblical terms, that final hour. That you realize something. What you did last night in darkness is being a focus point during the day that you're going to see something here, and I'm fixing to show it to you, that whatever you getting yourself involved in, you're going to come to the final hour at 23:23. I mean, I love those numbers. Something is not for you. And you're going to want your freedom. You're going to want to break free of this. Because you're either going to choose right this moment is the time for you to choose. Am I going to stay in this bondage, or am I going to free myself from something that is not right for me? That it does not compare. I got a lot of feelings that people are comparing people that they're coming in contact with to something they've experienced in their life in the past. And if you had a past relationship that you left or you destroyed for some unknown reason, and maybe the other person don't even know why you destroyed the relationship, but I got the feeling here, from what I'm looking at the astrology, is something here of a comparison, something with what we know, which is the past, is known, to try and have the same expectations for the future with something else, and it just isn't working. It's not working. Because there's something about society today that is not what was. And some people cannot cope with this new to what was, where it was stable, it was solid. And people effed up their lives to go to something that they thought they were going to be liberated. It's like women when they took their bras off. Some of them need to keep them on, okay? I mean, really. Nobody wants to see Granny running around without her bra on, okay? I mean, really. You know? The liberation, somebody don't want to see people's butt cheeks hanging out. It's not, it's... Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, for the future, it's like, I got to rethink this. This ain't going where it's not what it's cracked up to be. Because you're looking at this chart and you're going, what? Well, let me show you the events that is creating with Mercury and Saturn. Saturn being in opposition and it ruling the day, Mercury ruling the night, and it's in opposition to where you are at this point now in your life. Maybe in a career or in your home or in your relationship or whatever it may be. Because these are all cardinal signs that we're dealing with. Aries, Cancer, Libra, Taurus, Capricorn. Something here is not right. And people just are not going to buy the garbage anymore. It's not real. They want real. They don't want the fake and the phony. They don't want the shock and awe. Okay? So let me switch this over and show you what you see now. Remember we just had the two T-squares? Look at what you got now. You got a big damn square here. It ain't meeting. The career might not be, the reputation or something here, just ain't going. The home life ain't going. I'm not feeling it. I don't feel secure in this. Because there's the opposition here of your thinking to something here of where you are. This ain't for me. I don't feel emotionally secure in something here, and either in a job. I mean, we're hearing that New York Times, all these places, they're laying people off. And they're whining. There's a lot of whiners out there. I cannot stand a whiner. Whiners don't survive. I'm going to tell you that right now. They do not survive. It's when you face an adversity head on and you look at it for what it truly is. And yeah, guys, ladies, you may have gotten with somebody that just, and you've been with them, and all of a sudden, this person just broke you, just tore your world all to hell. Because that's what Capricorn is. It is the world. There's something here in the world that is crumbling apart. That is so toxic that people can't take it anymore. They can't drink it. They can't swallow it. They can't swallow the BS anymore. You know, you shovel enough BS at people or illusions at people, and all of a sudden, they just don't believe it anymore. And all of a sudden, they're not woke. People are awakening to the BS. People are awakening. I gave you my heart. I was dedicated to you. I was devoted to you. And you come in and destroy my world with your BS, your illusions. People want reality. They don't want to swallow the BS anymore. Do you get it? They're opposed to it. It's not emotional security. And the only way those ones that sit and whine and cry about this and that, I can't stand a whiner. I've had my heart tore out, ripped out, stomped on, and everything else by people I love more than anything in this world. Went through the pain, I've gone through the healing, and I've stood up and I've survived it because that's what I am. I am a Virgo who stands up with a Leo ascending, and I am like the lion that roars and says, enough is enough. I'm one of those that are awakening up to the BS, to the illusion. And I don't want it anymore. I don't want the lies and the deceit. I want reality. I want a good, solid foundation, a good future. And that is where I am driven. So now, yes, we might have to, since we've awakened, we've got to change our devotion to whatever it may be. You may not be devoted to that person anymore now. You don't have to be devoted to them anymore. You can move on. It's time, maybe. It was unhealthy. So you get yourself healthy. You survived the worst of the worst that you've been put through. And what put you through that was Pluto, to make you authentic, to awaken you, to shake your foundation so hard, to wake you up, the ground underneath your feet, to say, this ain't real. Take the rose-colored glasses off and see it for what it really is. And if you have been living in reality and knowing that you tried to still be devoted, you tried to do all the right things, bless your heart, I feel for you. I really do. You gave it your best shot. You gave it the best effort you could. You did what you could do. And now all of a sudden you realize that, hey, this ain't for me. This is not for me. Because the next thing we have is this cell again. time for you to get healthy. It's time for you to work within your limits and work toward a better, loving relationships with others. Get with people who are survivors, that know how to survive, that have good values. They know when they're handed a gift and they treasure that gift, and they know they can build something on that and it will change their life forever. Don't just move into something here, because again, this cell is showing there's an opposition. It's like playing this tug of war with something here. You're gonna. A friend told me one time, you got to kiss a lot of frogs till you meet the prince. So one of them will eventually turn into a prince. And I think my prince is coming. At least I'm being shown that, and my prince is coming. And that will be the last time that I will fall in love. Because all we see here is square after square after square. Look at them. Something here is not, you're not following along with the gamma anymore. You've been working on healing. Bless your hearts if you have. I hope you have. You want a good future. You want the right person in your life. And if you've been waiting on it, it's coming. Just always remember, folks, and there's a promise here at the end of all this, that yes, there is the grand trine. That yes, you will heal. Yes, look at it, it's all in the earth. Those of good heart, those that are the survivors, that use their resources wisely, that have good values, you're the ones that's going to succeed here. And sometimes you got to kiss them frogs to find the princess, and sometimes you got to kiss them to find the prince. But there's going to be rewards here, growth. You just got to make the adjustments that need to be made and make those hard choices. Because believe you me, there's going to be something that's going to come back. And you got to decide. Don't be blinded by something here. If they didn't treasure you in the past when you were there, whether it be your job, your career, your employers, or whoever it was, and you just went along with the game, you're out of luck. You're a shit creek without the paddles. Because they're not going to stand by you. They don't care. They got what they wanted out of you. So cry all you want. Cry your river all you want, the whiners. Because I'm going to tell you, this little boat ride is over. So you better wake up. And I don't mean woke, I mean wake. Your games are over. The BS is over. And there's a lot of people that are not going to survive this. I mean, look at it. We only got 2 trions sitting there. That powerful energy of Uranus, that interpersonal, one of those interpersonal planets that's closest to the interpersonal planets, is going to rock your world. It's going to shake things up. It's going to say, no, you can't ride this free ride no more. You can't go with the flow no more. You got to awaken. You got to activate your mind now because your emotional securities just got knocked out. Try to survive this. And there's probably a lot of them go podcasts and all this other kind of stuff, but they're not going to last either. Because you know what? They're going to get on there and whine and whine and whine. Who wants to listen to a whiner? People are going to want to listen to survivors that have faced adversity. How did you do it? Well, number one, I had to say this is the way it is. Two, I had to pick myself up. I had to know there's a higher power that can see me through what I need. And if I put my faith on where I should put it, in the hands that it should be in, instead of any man, woman, or anything, society, or whatever in this world, I'm going to be okay. I just got to be patient. I just have to be patient. Because the healing is there. And you will have the capacity to open your heart again and love again. Because you do. There's a lot of people out there that's got good hearts. Really good hearts. There's a lot of people out there that want to help others. But don't go into this thing thinking you're going to take advantage of somebody because they already are awakened. They know the BS. They know the storylines. They know the illusions, and they're not going to fall for it. So don't go up to them whining and thinking you're going to get away with something. Ain't going to work. Not going to work. And if you notice, whenever we talk about astrology, what sets right here in the center of everything. Oh, gosh. Uh-oh. What sits right here in the middle of all this, where this X is sitting at, is the Earth. Right in the middle. You don't see the Earth on this chart here. It's right there. It's where we live. It's our domain. It's our world. And X marks the spot. And you know what? I got to warn you, and I got to tell you, April the 8th, when we have that solar eclipse that's going to come from Texas. Now, y'all pay close attention to Texas. When it comes out of Texas and it goes out through New York, just as it came in through Washington State and went out South Carolina, X marks the spot. So go look it up on the map where the two lines from August 2017, whatever happened then during that total eclipse, because I watched that thing and that thing was awesome. I mean, I live in South Carolina and it went right over my head. And yeah, did it bring in a change in my life that I was not expecting for the next 7 years. It brought a lot of realization. It's time to wake up, and that illumination was coming. But when this comes, you figure it out. Ow! Ow, ow. That's 7 years, exactly. God's giving you a message. You better wake up. I'm telling you. Because it's going to mark the spot. It's going to go right across the United States, and there is going to be a change that's going to take place. And look at it. Look at it. Do you notice that the four corners, there is something that's going to, reminds me of something in Scripture, in the book of Enoch, where the winds, the seas, the air, the fire, all of it was held back. It ain't going to be held back no more. All the elements are not going to be held back anymore. It's going to be a coming to Jesus meeting. So you better prepare yourself for what's to come. Because I'm going to tell you, we don't realize, a lot of people don't realize that we celebrate. Easter is a moment for us of the resurrection. And this will be a resurrection like we have never seen before in our lives. The four corners, the cardinal signs, the four corners. Whoops. Let me get that off there. Well, really? You want to give me some problems here? I don't think you want to do that. The four corners. What's going on here? That we're seeing. I'm telling you, there's something here in this midheaven that there's an opposition. I'm telling you, there's something going on. The four corners. Aries is a cardinal. Cancer is a cardinal. Libra's a cardinal. Capricorn is a cardinal. And this X marks the spot. Right in the center. So that's why I'm saying, you know, I remember when I saw this, I've been studying and questioning the first time I saw back in 2016 when I was looking at the solar eclipse that was coming in 2017. Then to see what was coming 2018. Or not 2018, sorry about that. 2024, April the 8th. And I was like, okay. I mean, I have my own personal spiritual beliefs on this. You can have yours. I mean, I've been studying a lot about, things with scripture and all. And is there something coming? Yeah, there's something big coming. You better believe it. There's something big coming. Things have been held back for a long time. Many, 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 many. And our country here in the United States is not, it's not an old nation. It's a new nation. We don't have a long history. You go back to 1776, you figure it out. I mean, how long we've been in existence. We ain't been in existence that long. And if you were lucky enough to even be born here, I mean, we're almost right at the 250-year mark. We're at 248 when this eclipse happened. That's how long this nation has been in. 250 years, or 248 years when this eclipse happens. And it's grown in 248 years. But it's when we believed in something as a nation of success and succeeding, when we had the faith to believe in what we were trying to accomplish, and people who came here not to destroy, but to invent. They had the freedom to invent, create their ideals, to help society. They came here to try and help society, not tear it down, not to destroy our faith, that we as a nation can do it. We've been through adversity. But for somewhere along the way, people just thought they could just do as they wanted. And that's not, that don't get it. You want the Battle of the Alamo again? Go ahead and try it. I'm telling you, that X is going to mark the spot. And people are waking up. People are waking up in their faith, in their belief system. They're devoted. I'm devoted. I'm a woman after God's own heart. To glorify Him, and He will glorify me. And that's what it's about. And I will survive. Because I am a survivor. So with that, I'll leave it closed and let you know I had to bring this out because of what I'm seeing. I saw it on the 24th that I put that out. I showed you that. This has been going on. And I got to tell y'all this. There is something about me with the number 3. When I'm shown something or get something that comes to me out of nowhere 3 times, then it's telling me something. And I don't know. And I had a dream not too long ago where my left hand, I was in a land of snakes. And that's all I could see. I was walking on a mound and there was nothing but snakes. And one bit me, or I felt the biting in my left hand, in the left palm of my hand, that little fatty part of the palm of my hand. 3 bites. And I kept thinking, my dream, I just kept saying, I gotta get medical help. I gotta get medical. But I wasn't getting sick. That was the strangest thing. So it was something showing me that, yeah, you've been bitten. But there's a healing. It's going to be fine. Do I interpret dreams? Not at that moment. I have to wait to be shown what the dream means, just as Daniel did. He asked for it to be revealed. What does this mean? Reveal the dream to me. And that's what you have to do. When you have a dream, you don't understand it, pray on it and ask God to show you what the dream means, and he will show you. But what I'm seeing here, fire, water, air, and the four corners of the earth is being held back. But I don't think it's going to be held back any longer. So we all need to get prepared. Okay? And there's something in opposition of I don't want to say it right now because I'm still praying on it. But I will leave it at that. I do thank y'all all for coming and viewing this video. I hope it helps in any way that you can, that it brings something. Either you're learning something here, because I like for people to learn. If I can, in my own way. I don't follow tradition. Okay, I'm not a traditional person. So things with me are different. I love how people do this. They pull up in my driveway, they back out of my driveway. And why would you do that? It's like they go to a certain point. It's the craziest thing I've seen. I mean, why not just go down to the road down there and make a U-turn and go on out? Anyway, I love you guys, and thank y'all for being here. Y'all take care, and I will see y'all on the other side. Please make it a great day and a great weekend. Let's just get prepared. Let's work on our healing, all right? And our spiritual selves. And with that, I will say goodbye.